Yeah, I feel like year one was kind of just learning the fundamentals that Coach Austin teaches and learning the scheme, learning more of like the overall, like how defenses play in high-level college football versus high school is completely different. So kind of picking up the fundamentals and learning more about the defense and learning more about the offense was the focus in year one. And now I feel like I can focus on those finer details and getting things perfect rather than good enough. So, I feel like the year one to the year two jump has been really big, and, I'm looking forward to playing.
People have kind of used you as an example of somebody that came in as a freshman and was just kind of ready to go. Have any of the freshmen kind of showed that to you this year?
I mean, I think everyone that we brought in works incredibly hard. Like, I could go on for 5 minutes about each individual freshman that we brought in. I love all those guys. I think a guy that kind of picked it up really quick was, I think Harris did really well picking it up. But then there's guys like Zach where I look at Zach and he came in here and he went through everything. And he really almost surprised me with his work ethic and how hard he works and just his mentality of he's a finisher. No matter what happens, he's going to finish. And then Ian is out there, and Ian always asks me for advice, and he's always looking to me, looking to Walker, looking to Marcus, looking to Tristan for advice. And I think all those guys are just great. So.
What are the finer details?
Yeah, so I guess learning more about how the defensive line is going to attack me has been a big focus of mine because I never really had thought about, they scout me and they look at, my weaknesses. So I've been trying to get, like I've asked Peter Woods, like, what does he think of me? Like, what do they see from me? And then also, too, learning how they play, what step they're going to make their move on based on what foot's up, what they're looking at cue-wise, and just trying to, get better with my hands was a big thing, and then more under control and don't want to play out of my pads, just play at my base and use my hands was a big focus. Yeah, I felt like I was getting outside of people like that. I want to be more straight line, punching straight. The fastest way between 2 points is a straight line, not a big arc.
In practice, who's the defensive lineman you hate to see lined up right against you?
I mean, honestly, all those guys out there they're beasts, they're ballers. I don't see how anyone's going to be able to block them this year just because they're all freaks of nature out there. But for the majority of practice, I've been going up against XT, and it's really great to see him out there. Just with what happened last year, it was really unfortunate, and I felt bad because everyone wants to play football, and I felt bad that was taken away from him. But he's really made the most of this year, and he goes out there and, like I said, he's a freak of nature out there. Like, what he can do and what I've seen him do is incredible. So he's a guy, like, iron sharpens iron. I feel like he's gotten me a lot better.
How hard is it to pass set against him? Just the speed he has?
Yeah, it definitely, you have to take into consideration a speed guy versus a power guy. You're going to set differently on them. So he's a guy where I got to get out of there quick, but he's done a really good job working on moves to, change things up. So you can't always set him the same way. And he is a guy that he understands that most people's going to think he's speed, so he can throw things in there that you're not expecting. And I don't know, it's really impressive. Like, he's almost a jack of all trades, yeah.
I think Marcus mentioned that higher starting unit played like 105 snaps or something in the Orange Bowl. What was it like to take that many, and do you think depth along the line this year will maybe make those things a little bit easier?
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, whatever it takes to win a game. I mean, if we have to go out there and play 5 overtimes, however many they'll let us play, I'll go out there and play it to win a game just because, winning matters here. I want to win for the guy next to me, the guy behind me, the guys everywhere. Like, I want to win for those people. So, I mean, yeah, it was a little tiring, but it's something I'm willing to do, and I'd play more if I needed to. But when you were talking about depth, I mean, we definitely have a lot more depth than last year. I feel like we have a good rotation, like between the orange and the purple group, and even some guys in the pride group. There's great guys that can rotate in, and that if they stepped on the field, I'd have complete faith in.
Hey, Blake, David Hood with TigerNet.com. Just asked Justin this. It's been 30-something practices over the spring and fall since you last played in the game. Are you ready to hit somebody else, somebody in a little different colored uniform, not CXG across the way?
Yeah, I mean, obviously games are their games. You got all those people out there cheering for you, and it really matters. In practice, you can make a mistake, and obviously it matters, but it's something that you can learn from, and it's not the end of the world. The quarterback's not going to get hit because I made a mistake, but in a game, it's higher stakes. Like you got to be on your A game, and it'll be good, like to see someone different across the line and play against different people. Because I feel like that's another thing that gets you better, is because anyone can master how to set against a speed guy or how to set against a power guy, but having that where you can switch it week to week of I have this guy and he's a speed guy, or this guy's a power guy, this guy's a finesse guy, being able to switch between that is what makes you really good, in my opinion.
What did you learn from being able to go on the road last year, play on Monday night down in Atlanta, kind of get away from camp, get away with your teammates? What did you learn from that entire experience that you can use this time around?
Yeah, Atlanta in particular, like that Georgia Tech game, it wasn't my finest moment, but it was a first game I needed to get out there, and it really exposed a lot of things that I needed to work on. Like Coach Swinneys always says, like if you go out there, you're going to get exposed if there's things that are lacking. So I definitely got exposed in that game, and it helped me throughout the season realize, hey, like this is what I need to work on. This is what's going to get me beat. So I feel like this year now I've gotten better at my ability to watch film, and I have the guys around me that I feel like they know what they're talking about as well, and not only Coach Austin and BT, like the guys that help out, but also like players that we all sit there and look at each other and say, hey, like in your set, you're not throwing your hands soon enough, you're throwing your hands too early, and you're playing out of your pads, that sort of thing. So I feel like that group of guys around us that we're able to help one another, I feel like that's been very helpful.
Dabo's been open talking about the goal of a national championship, of that college football playoff. What's that like to hear that? I mean, we all saw the Twitter video, or he put that senior class on notice. I mean, what's it like to be in those meetings and to hear that clear definition of what the goal is this year?
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, we had a guest speaker come in, and he said the first thing you need to do when you want to do something is name it. So, I mean, Coach Swinneys wants to go to the national championship. I think everyone here wants to go to a national championship, and I hope if someone's here that doesn't want to be, that, they either get on board or get off board, like just, go over the ship. But I think it's great that he's kind of named it and put it in front of us and is encouraging everyone, and then he's holding us to the standard that it takes, because obviously, he knows what it takes, and he's holding everyone to the standard that it takes to stand on that podium and hold up that trophy.
Is this the most confident you think that this offensive line has been? I know this is just your second year, but you feel like there's a new level of confidence with this group, maybe more so than last year?
I feel like everyone's more confident, like I said, with the question about what's it like year one to year two. Like everyone's more confident in the scheme, just in terms of it's not new terminology, it's not new footwork, it's not new anymore. It's just repeating and refining and getting better at it. So I feel like there's confidence there, and then also too with the amount of guys that we have that are, like I said, able to play, that's confidence inspiring. And then the guys that we have, we lost Jordan, which was one guy, but apart from that, everyone's back. So just the confidence that we have in one another, and the confidence we have when it comes to playing in the scheme and the techniques that Coach Austin and Coach Riley have for us is way higher.
Take us through the competition at left tackle this season. Dabo mentioned, I think, 3, 4, 5 guys even that they tried out, and you were one of them. But was there ever a chance you were going to switch over, and how's it feel to kind of be settled at right tackle? How confident are you in the guys that are sitting there at left tackle?
Yeah. So I mean, right now we got a couple guys who can play left tackle, and we have a lot of guys on the O-line who can rotate around to all positions, so I think that's great. But I mean, when it comes to me playing left tackle, I told Coach Austin in our exit meeting, I said I'm willing to try left tackle, but I'd rather be a great right tackle than just a good left tackle. So that was kind of my mentality going into it, and obviously, like in the off season, I would train left tackle as well. But it was one of those things where I was ready for the opportunity, but there's no hard feelings or anything. Like I like being at right tackle. It's what's natural to me.
Any questions for Blake from Zoom? Anybody else in the room?
Sorry,
Go ahead, Steve.
sorry. D.Yak Belly here from the AP. Just wanted to know, you talked earlier, you said winning matters at Clemson, right? These fans, they want this offense to win and win and win. What are they going to see as, you know, we get the new Garrett Riley scheme? Is this going to be the offense that they liked seeing a few years ago? What's going to be out there on the field?
Yeah, I feel like what I've noticed just in practice is a lot more explosive plays, you know, just seeing guys make big catches, big runs downfield, that sort of thing. And then also, too, the freedom it gives, like the offensive line unit in particular, where we can flip our protections if need be. Because, I mean, there was times last year where we'd see something coming and we would, you know, try and relay it, but that wasn't really in the offense, that we could flip the call and, you know, slide into a blitz and pass protection, or, you know, slide away from something that we needed to. So I think that part's a lot better. And then just the simplicity of it, I think, will make things easier. You know, when a guy has to sit there and go through 50, 60 plays he has memorized in his head, it's a lot different than a guy who has to go through about, you know, 30, 40 plays in his head. So I think just the freedom and, you know, the simplicity will help guys make big plays and just let their talent show.
Got time for one more from Blake, if anybody has one.
We heard that you're living with Walker and Will now, so what is that like with the garage gyms? And I think I heard that Will also wrestles with you sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great living arrangement. I love living with those guys. You know, we go outside and we got this little living room area before I go up to my room, and I'll always see Will out there, and everyone will kind of congregate in there. So I think that's been good. And then a lot of people in the O-line in general come congregate at our house. So it's been good to be over there, and I can kind of be at the center of the whole O-line thing. And yeah, Will definitely has got the edge on me in wrestling. My whatever it was, second grade wrestling experience doesn't exactly defeat his years and years and years of wrestling experience, but that's a good one. It's a good one. I never knew how out of breath you could get. I had forgot, you know, how good of a cardio exercise that is, but it's a fun time. Yeah.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, guys.